Hello and welcome back. Today we're talking Tesla stock, ticker symbol TSLA. As a disclaimer, this is not investment advice. This is just a research video that I put together meant to be educational as well as entertaining. We're going to take a look at a few different news clippings and articles surrounding the company as of recently, and then we're going to jump into the charts. Thank you for your time. Please continue to like, share, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell. It really does help people find my channel. We're going to first take a look at a little interview that Elon Musk did with Lex Fridman about a year ago. Please enjoy.
So where does Tesla currently stand on its quest for full autonomy?
Well, on the highway already, the probability of intervention is extremely low.
Yes.
So for highway autonomy, with the latest release, especially the probability of needing to intervene is really quite low. In fact, I'd say for stop and go traffic, it's far safer than a person right now. In stop and go, the probability of an injury or an impact is much lower for autopilot than a person. And then with navigating autopilot, it can change lanes, take highway interchanges, and then we're coming at it from the other direction, which is low speed, full autonomy. And in a way, this is like how does a person learn to drive? You learn to drive in the parking lot. First time you learned to drive probably wasn't jumping on Market Street in San Francisco. That'd be crazy. You learn to drive in the parking lot, get things right at low speed, and then the missing piece that we're working on is traffic lights and stop streets. Stop streets, I would say, actually also relatively easy because you kind of know where the stop street is. Worst case, you can geocode it and then use visualization to see where the line is and stop at the line to eliminate the GPS error. So I'd say there's probably complex traffic lights and very windy roads are the two things that need to get solved.
What's harder, perception or control for these problems? So being able to perfectly perceive everything, or figuring out a plan once you perceive everything, how to interact with all the agents in the environment. In your sense, from a learning perspective, is perception or action harder in that giant, beautiful, multitask learning neural network?
The hardest thing is having accurate representation of the physical objects in vector space. So taking the visual input, primarily visual input, some sonar and radar, and then creating an accurate vector space representation of the objects around you. Once you have an accurate vector space representation, the planning and control is relatively easier. That is relatively easy. Basically, once you have accurate vector space representation, then you're kind of like a video game, like cars in like Grand Theft Auto or something. Like they work pretty well. They drive down the road. They don't crash, pretty much unless you crash into them. That's because they've got an accurate vector space representation of where the cars are, and then they're rendering that as the output.
Do you have a sense, high level, that Tesla's on track on being able to achieve full autonomy? So on the highway,
yeah, absolutely,
and still no driver sensing.
And we have driver sensing with torque on the wheel.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay, we are here on arkinvest.com. This article came out March 19th of 2021. If you haven't realized, or if you haven't heard, or you just don't understand why I'm looking at this page, is because ARK Invest holds Tesla in very high regard. They are among the biggest Tesla bulls in the market. However, they will trim their positions, from time to time. They are very bullish on Tesla, however. So let's just take a look at this article. ARK's price target for Tesla in 2025. Last year, ARK estimated that in 2024, Tesla's share price would hit $7,000 per share, or $1,400 adjusted for its 5-for-1 stock split. Based on our updated research, we now estimate that it could approach $3,000 in 2025. To arrive at this forecast, ARK used a Monte Carlo model with 34 inputs, the high and low forecast incorporating 40,000 possible simulations. Our bull and bear price targets are the top and bottom quartile outcomes from the simulations as shown below. So the expected value of $3,000, this projection is our base case for Tesla's stock price in 2025 according to the Monte Carlo analysis. The bear case is $1,500, We believe that there is a 25% probability that Tesla could be worth $1,500 per share or less in 2025. That's a pretty big or less, I would say. Bull case, $4,000 a share. We believe that there is a 25% probability that Tesla could be worth $4,000 per share or more in 2025. So there, obviously, right, a bear case and a bull case, there's quite a big range of significance there. So I just thought I would sharecase this since I am a ARK Invest. I invest in ARK index funds, their ETFs. I do see the significance of paying attention to people that are buying a lot of Tesla stock, which ARK Invest are. They are, again, like I said, they're the biggest bulls in the market. So it's just important when I'm doing my research to figure out why they are arriving at some of the price targets that they are arriving at. And I think this Monte Carlo analysis is not only strategic, and it's just very wise to have different types of scenarios, bear, bull, and kind of like a base value. So I think that this type of information is only just meant to help investors such as myself out. And we look here, I'll leave this article in the description below. And it really is important to see how they break down the electric vehicle revenue, insurance revenue, the human-driven ride-hail revenue, the autonomous ride-hail revenue, just different types of categories that they come and how they reach these price targets. So again, it is very, very nice, and it helps me as an investor wrap my head around these different scenarios for big investment firms such as ARK Invest. So let's continue. Tesla recalls 285,000 cars in China for online software fix. This article came out June 26th of 2021. Tesla plans to recall more than 285,000 mostly China-made Model 3 and Model Y cars due to an issue with the cruise control feature of the vehicles. China's State Administration for Market Regulation said on its website that the move is linked to an assisted driving function in the electric cars, which could cause sudden acceleration if activated by drivers accidentally. The recall will be a free remote online software fix and will cover 249,855 China-made Model 3 and Model Y cars, as well as 35,665 imported Model 3 vehicles. Some of the vehicles in the recall were produced in 2019. Tesla has faced some setbacks in China this year, but deliveries in May came in stronger than anticipated. So my takeaway is that anytime an electric vehicle that has the type of software installed on it, if ever there needs to be updates or fixes, this is kind of what's to be expected with updates or recalls or any sort of fixes in the glitching mechanisms or the software mechanisms that go with cruise control or any other sort of features on the cars. So let's continue. Okay, I am here on Statista.com. I did a quick Google search for best-selling plug-in electric vehicle models worldwide in 2020, and the Tesla Model 3 was the world's most popular plug-in electric vehicle with worldwide unit sales of roughly 365,000 in 2020. That year, deliveries of Tesla's Model 3 and Model Y increased by almost 90% year on year. And these two models accounted for 60% of Tesla's sales volume in 2020. So I'm not going to go through the entire article, but I was just kind of curious as to see how the sales of Teslas compared with the rest of the electric vehicle makers and who sold the most last year. So just trying to wrap my head around some of the numbers, and this type of information serves me well as an investor moving forward. It allows me to kind of predict, or at least kind of try to picture a company that is not only leading the industry, but continues to gain momentum with better technology rollouts or updated software or firmware updates. So I just wanted to share this. Let's continue. Okay, I'm here on the Seeking Alpha Tesla page, and from time to time, I'll always go to Seeking Alpha whenever I am interested in either finding out some different analysis inputs or some different company profiles, or whenever I'm just kind of like doing some basic research, I'll come to Seeking Alpha. And what I would like to look at is definitely the revenue chart. And we see here this stair-stepping pattern of ascension. From 2020, the revenue of $31.5 billion to December of 2021, there's an estimation of $49.42 billion, and then the 2022 revenue estimate of $66.67 billion revenue estimate. I do like to see these types of charts, especially for a company that I plan on holding for the long term, which is something that I am doing with Tesla. It's not something that I would trade. I know that a lot of people like to day trade Tesla because of the swings. Me, myself personally, I can't handle the swings. I just want to either own a Tesla share or own a Tesla vehicle in one way or another, because I do believe in the technology. And the EPS, so far, what I see that it's slowly been beating, at least more recently, of 2021, the first quarter, it beat its estimate. So, you know, the Q2 and Q3 estimates are ascending. So if we can see that the EPS continues to grow or outperform the estimates, then, you know, it's just more bullish scenarios in my opinion. I also do like to come down here and check out some of their ownership. They are held widely by institutes. Like I said, ARK Invest is one of the more active investment firms that holds Tesla in a lot of their flagship ETFs. And also I'd like to come down and check out some of their peers like Toyota, Daimler, GM, and NIO. I am also a NIO bull as well as a Toyota bull. But when it comes to electric vehicles, I think it is wise to hold a Chinese company such as NIO, just because the Chinese are very, very strict when it comes to their electric vehicles. They put out a lot of electric vehicles, and it's more of the culture of owning an electric vehicle, as far as I've read in China. So let's continue. Okay, we are here on my trading view, taking a look at Tesla's stock chart, and I'm going to just make a few different levels of support as of September 2020, and the stock has touched over $800, and just more recently on its latest earnings, where it beat, it had a surprise earnings of 21.56%. The stock took a little bit of a tumble, but I think that it's safe to say that you're not in, at least for myself, I'm again, this is not investment advice. This is just something that I'm noticing, that anytime that either a price target or something comes out, we can start to see some movements, or anytime that there's news based upon this company, and a lot of people get behind it. There's a lot of momentum trading with this company, but I at least like to think that for the most part that there's going to be a lot of bulls when it comes to Tesla. There are some shorts, such as Dr. Michael Burry, who is among some of my favorite investors to follow. And, you know, I don't like to go against, you know, a certain investor one way or another. Obviously, I have a lot of respect for people who have been doing it a lot longer than I have. It is just something that I'm noticing. So let's just play out a couple scenarios, right? So I'm going to make a trend line, and if it can stay, or if it can trade above this trend line, then I think all systems go. And I think that not only if it could trade perhaps in like this this sort of a triangle pattern that I'm just seeing from its high, like around the 904 area, to the low 9s, the high 8s, to where it's currently sitting at in the mid 6s. So one scenario I'll put out, that if it can kind of trade along this area, then when it reaches a former level of resistance, we try to make that level some support, and then hopefully it can continue to ascend. However, if it doesn't, and we see that the stock kind of just tumbles up a little bit, then it's just one of those things that I could see the share price taking a nice tumble down here to a level of support like in the 4s. And then, there'll be some bears who will put some really crazy low price targets way down here. I just happen to think that it may not reach very low levels. So I could see perhaps my bullish case would be like the high 3s, the low 4s. And if it touches that area, I see it as a great opportunity. But I do think in the long term, and I happen to agree with the ARK Invest team, that this company is just on a warpath, and it plans on becoming, and is already showing, that it is the industry leader for electric vehicles, and it will continue to be the top leader. So that's my chart for Tesla. To the moon. To Mars. All right, I'm going to leave it here. Thank you for your time. Please continue to like, share, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell. It really does help people find my channel. If there's another company, ETF, IPO, or cryptocurrency that you'd like for me to research, just drop it in the comment section below, and I will do my best to get to it as soon as possible. So with that being said, I really do hope y'all enjoyed this video. And until the next one, y'all take care.